Okay, well, sometimes science is more art than science, Morty. A lot of people don't get that.
This is the Millennials Podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? This is the Millennials Podcast. We are all here, and today we have a super cool guest. His name is Austin Paul, and I've been listening to him for a little while. It kind of feels like we have a celebrity in the house. It's pretty cool. Say what's up, man. Oh crap! Say it again. I muted you.
Put your podcast
Yo,
voice
what
on.
up?
There we go.
By the way, now I go by Austin Paul Flores.
Okay, Austin
The
Paul Flores.
secret is out. Paul wasn't my last name. It was my middle name. You idiots.
So I was kind of wondering if we should like Les Mis this podcast and sing every line that we're doing.
All right.
I wouldn't even listen to that episode.
There was seriously a girl that I used to like totally, and she heard me sing and she goes, what if you just like, sang when you talk, because your talking voice isn't like as like
Wow.
cool as your singing
Dang.
voice. I was like, yeah, I sound like a nerd. I know. This is how I talk. Get used to it.
Jeez.
Yeah, you
People
actually
don't usually
probably
hear me
know
when
that
I
girl.
I might.
Oops, should we name drop? Just
No.
He's got more respect. So can you, before we get into everything, can you just give
Yeah.
us a little bit of history musically?
Musically, my dad taught me how to sing when I was an infant. He would sing notes to me to make sure that I could mimic them as like a baby. So he was like,
Interesting.
he's the reason why I like know how to do anything. And then I got into show choir. I was in Magnet for classical when I was middle school, and then I did show choir going into high school. And I started writing music when I was in middle school. So all through that time since then, I've just been writing music and trying to like use my musical abilities in different things. Like I've done like a little bit of scoring for like independent, videos and things like that, films and stuff. And then also just performing, because performing is like my main source of like happiness.
Cool. So you were in a band called Cowboys and Indians, and then you like transferred over to like this neo R&B crooner kind of thing. How did that happen?
Well, before I was in Cowboys and Indians, I had already been producing like electronic music by myself. I was doing that for a little bit, and then through that, my brother came back from college, and I started making music with him, which became Cowboys and Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was just like not really down with only making one style of music, which our band was pretty confined to like rock. That's pretty much what everybody was willing to like finish at. I wanted to do everything, but I knew it takes time to experiment and evolve from sound to sound, which is what I'm doing now. So I went from my first EP Velvet from like a more R&B vibe to Desparia, which is like an experimental, like idiocentric kind of look into myself, to Revival, which is more funk. So I just like experimenting, but at the same time let it give me natural, so your natural watermark, like for lack of better words, is in the music.
Mm-hmm.
So because I think that artists in general can make any music they want, as long as you're real. It won't even sound like it might sound like remnants of that style, but at the end of the day it'll be Austin Paul style or Prince style or
Right.
Pink Floyd style, because they can't help but be themselves, and that's how I feel. Like I can't help but just let it be natural. When I do something that feels contrived, like I feel like people smell it, like that's fake, and I do too, and I don't like feeling like I'm making something that is just to please other people. I want to make something that reaches out to the people that feel the same way that I do.
Awesome. Before we go on, I want to tell the listeners that like this whole episode isn't just about Austin Paul Flores. We're gonna talk about music itself, but I just wanted everyone to like, who are you and why are you here? You know what I mean?
Of course.
So that happened, and then you made a record you called This Cloudy Mix, and then you came out with the other 3 that you mentioned. And who are some like people that you've worked with?
I've worked with Pharrell, Timbaland, Jason Derulo,
Directly.
Christian Rich. Yeah, like in person in the studio and stuff. So it was fun in that respect, and it gave me like knowledge for the future to kind of running things on my own, because I used to be managed and work with labels and stuff, and now I just do everything independently, which is
He said, "Screw the industry."
Yeah.
Jason Derulo. Sorry, I had to get that out.
Hey, yo, Jace.
That's him.
That's what
I was
oh
holding
back.
I was holding it back. I heard someone say
man.
that. I just can't. I had to. Okay.
When I was
Great.
Googling stuff about you, just the last like closing thing. If you live in Miami, he's going to be playing at the 3 Points Festival. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, 3 Points Festival,
So if you
October.
listen to us and you live in Miami, he'll be at that. Google it. And just as a little side note, a little crazy, like, wow, that's pretty intense that someone like that said that about you. I was Googling some stuff just to see like what other people had said about you, because I already know what I think about you. But and I saw that Pharrell once tweeted your video and said the future.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it was nice to get that, but
So you know what Pharrell thinks
not
about
yet
you,
apparently.
but you don't know what Jason thinks about you.
Yeah, what
No,
does
he was
Jason
cool.
think
I like.
No, not Derulo.
Oh.
This one.
Jason, this one.
I already did.
True.
I was like, I feel like we have a celebrity in the house.
But you didn't say the future. We have the future in the house.
Yeah, a celebrity.
Come on, bro.
More than just
You're kind of
celebrity.
lackluster comparison of Pharrell.
Whatever, man. I listened to his stuff way more than Pharrell did, for sure.
Totally. Right. That's true. That's true.
He heard that one song and was like, retweet the future. All right, I'm going to the club.
All right, cool.
All right, so first thing I want to talk about, you brought it up, and I stopped you so that we could hop into it. Music is now a product.
Yes.
What the heck is up with that?
I think it's based on
Money,
number
Like, talk
one,
about
it's
the art
easy.
stuff, how you were saying, like, art isn't seen like that.
Oh yeah. So like basically like when you go to a gallery, for example, to see like a painting, like you're not looking at that painting and saying like, man, like I want to look at this every day and I know exactly what that artist is thinking and I know what, you know, Jason thinks about that artist and what Ralph thinks about that
Pharrell.
artist. Yeah, exactly. Like you have to, it's open-ended and it's meant to make you feel however you want to feel. And with music, it's become more about entertaining and about products.
Making that quick buck.
Exactly. It's all about power, sex, and substance. You know, what can make you feel strong and happy momentarily? What can make you feel powerful? What can make you feel sexually strong? What can make you feel comfortable in your own skin? What can make you feel rich? It's all just based on making you feel happy.
Yeah, like how to relate.
Is that what you?
Yeah.
Is that what you experienced when you were super involved in all that kind of stuff? Is that
Yeah,
maybe-
one of the specific things that one of the people that I worked with said, he literally said, you need to be making music that'll make hundreds of naked girls dance in a club.
Oh, for sure that was Jason Derulo.
Close, but no, but I can't.
It was
No,
Jason.
but
This Jason.
regardless, like it just shows you the.
'Cause that's
the
what he
only
makes.
goal is to just make people feel like
Ecstasy.
a momentary sense of happiness. All these record labels and everything are also owning other companies like Coca-Cola and brands and advertisers. So they want the music to contain a certain level of content that has to do with what they're trying to sell. You know? And
I feel
that's
like
not
that-
crazy.
I feel like that kind of mentality also makes it now. Like hits used to last longer back then. I don't know if maybe it was because I was younger or whatever, but like hits used to last longer. Like a month or 2 months wasn't like it dies now in 2 months. You know.
That's because the artistry has died. And if you think about it, the music that used to come out back in the day, like hits wise, the music is like timeless. Right now, we're in such a state of constant. What's
Change.
new? What's new? What's
Yeah.
new? So
Was it
trends happen, and then you've got
Timeless, though?
yeah,
Like
You play something a week old and it's like-
life after? That's not really That was a hit.
It was a hit. There's
And it
definitely one hit
lasted.
wonder.
Still-
It sucked.
No,
though.
but right now
Yeah,
you might
for
have
sure.
artists that are like resurfacing hits back then and using it in their music now.
Oh, for
Bohemian
sure.
Rhapsody.
You know,
That's
all
a
the
song
time.
that
In a
everybody will
sense,
know
that
till the end
was
of time.
For sure.
what makes
You
it
know, like
timeless.
that's
Yeah.
timeless music. Songs like that aren't written anymore, and I mean, it's far and far.
It's
and
not that they're not
Far
written
between.
anymore. It's that personally, I think that everything is so fast now.
Yeah,
And
even the way
everything
you
is-
download music
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
or
though, is
listen to
that
it on Spotify.
It's fast, but it's we're trying to keep up. A lot of artists are trying to keep up.
Yeah.
So they write things just to suffice
Produce and release.
to
The
the
surface
speed.
level.
Just to get it out
Yeah.
there. So then it's harder for
Doom,
them to
doom,
be
doom, doom.
creative. People who take time to write albums aren't that authenticity hasn't risen to the surface yet. Other than people like I believe Alabama Shakes, the White Stripes. You've got these anomalies in popular music. You know,
I think some of it has to do with how overly saturated we are with music right now.
because
Like,
everybody
true.
can make
It's
music.
yeah,
so
anybody
easy
can make
access.
music.
Yeah.
You have so many outlets where you can just
Yes.
put it out and people can find it.
Question: do you think if Bohemian Rhapsody came out today, it would have the same impact it did when it came out then?
Yes,
I don't think it would.
I know, but like
That's a good question.
what I'm saying is
But
it might
Justin
not have
Bieber-
the impact immediately, but in a timeless sense, because there's people like that I believe that have that ability of talent, like James Blake, for example. Listen to his music, and it's hard to understand how he has a huge cult following. And right now, it's definitely not anywhere close to what Queen's following is at the time. But I guarantee you, 50 years from now, people are going to be like, James, he's on Beyonce's album and stuff. Like, the elite already know about him and are, and he's a millionaire.
There are
He's doing
definitely
well.
people though who the elite know of,
Yeah.
but they never become popular with the public.
Hey, you know, you have no idea about how many people I've like worked with and whatever. And where am I? And I'll tell you what it is
You're on our
that-
podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, you
future
made
is
it,
on
bro.
the podcast.
This is the top right
This
here.
is the future.
Something my mom used to tell me, she used to say, God only gives you as much as you can handle. And I used to think that was like, well, it's messed up. Like, I took the wrong way when I realized it's like the time is right for you when the time is right. But like I said, like I now I'm not focusing on fans, numbers. I'm focusing on making music, and if I and the community around me, so the people that choose to say I appreciate what you're doing, you know, I like the example of like kind of life that you're living. I want to do that too.
So I like that
Word it up.
we're getting that deep into it. But like if I was a listener, I'd be like, okay, that's all nice and good, but in the end, how do you pay your rent? Like, if you there's a point where you
Yeah.
got to worry about your numbers.
Well,
right?
here's the thing: is that they don't call a means to an end, a means to an end for nothing, because when a lot of people choose to do that, that's exactly what it is. It's a means to an ending to your dreams. It's kind of like with a lot of religion, you stop yourself at a point because you say that's the answer. I don't need to know anymore because that's the answer. If you scale that into into your human life and your human potential and any other situation, that's what causes you to fail, because you say,
You stop, yeah.
I don't need to know anymore. I'm a purple belt now. I don't need to be a whatever belt. You know what I mean?
I like purple. Purple's good.
Purple's good. I'm comfortable with purple.
Yeah.
You
My
know?
name is Purple, so
And
I
s-
deserve purple.
Got a lot of
Exactly.
purple in my wardrobe, but it works out.
You have to do something in order to make a means to an end, but never to be too comfortable. If you're trying to do something that you love, like, because as soon as you're comfortable, then
You stop, yeah.
you stop.
You
Like,
stop
and I've
digging.
seen it happen. You know, I went from living at my parents' house, we weren't rich at all, to being alone, to being homeless, to being living off of somebody else, to then being completely self-sufficient and realizing the values of certain things and the importance of certain things, the practicality of certain things that we need and what we don't need, you know, necessity versus like privilege. And we let a lot of that get in the way and take priority over our purpose, you know, and we think that our purpose is selfish, but the reality is that our purpose the key to success in your purpose is understanding how what you do helps other people. So in anything, a mailman, a person who collects movie tickets, a pastor, a musician, everybody has a reason in that field of why it's helping other people. But if you don't understand that, you're going to be
Or
miserable.
if you just don't see it like that.
So to truly be selfish in how they're saying that it can help you, because it's true, to care about yourself can help you. But to make decisions based on how you're feeling in the moment just to numb yourself or to fulfill a sensation that everybody knows doesn't always feel good in the end, you know? Like, and you can observe it. That's the weirdest thing. You observe it almost from like a fourth eye perspective of like, that was just a feeling, and what's going on in my soul has nothing to do with that. So if you take yourself out of that and you focus on community, then you're really focused on your well-being, because your foundation of friends and the people you have around you is what defines who you're going to be as a person. Exactly, man. You can't hang out with a bunch of people that do drugs and expect not to do drugs. You know, racist and expect not to have racist tendencies, because you start to develop their train of thought.
Habits.
That's why, and it's so funny, they want to disagree with music affecting people, but the number one metaphor that they use is, you know, if you don't raise your kids, who's going to raise your kids? You know, if you don't tell them what's truth, who's going to tell them what's truth? Somebody's telling them. And guess who's telling them? Musicians.
Not
and
MTV,
movies,
because they don't play
entertainment.
music anymore.
Marilyn Manson.
You're telling kids what to do.
And well,
I don't like
it's fabricated reality. When you have artists, that's what I'm talking about also as well. The difference between an artist and an entertainer and a reality show. Like with artists, with a movie, for example, like Die Hard. We watch Die Hard. We know it's a movie. It's a story. You're not looking at that and saying like, this is real. With certain musicians, they represent their lifestyle as like, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys that are drug dealers, they're not drug dealers. They're drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
all they are. They're not, a lot of these guys talking about these super misogynist relationships or polyamorous relationships. False. They are married. They have kids.
Yeah, like Beyonce's whole album about getting cheated on.
Oh
She's
my
happily
God.
married with her kid.
Oh
and,
my God.
And everyone
Yes.
fell for it. And everyone's
Yes.
just like,
It's so astonishing. But that's what I'm saying. And that's why it's dangerous, is because the age group, and mind you, it's hard for us to really think about this because now we're older. We know what we like and what we don't like, and we can listen to things just because we enjoy it. But think about your 14-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
It was awkward.
It was awkward. Like the amount of how peer pressure can affect you, the amount of influence that can affect you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was a thug at 14.
I know, it was pretty awkward, man.
Well, that's the intensity of music. It has the power to influence, like for the good and for the worst part. You know,
Music is so. What people don't understand is that in all religions, God spoke creation into being. That's sound. Sound is so powerful. I don't know if you guys know about cymatics and how literally frequencies can change shapes.
Control your brain.
Exactly, with binaural audio and binaural beats and things like that. I sincerely believe that if anything is something to do with like the spiritual dimension, it's sound, because it's intangible, but we know that it's there.
And it goes on forever, just into eternity. Like,
yes.
yeah.
You know, like we don't pay attention to that stuff enough, and how much music can affect people. I know personally that 43 hertz is like a specific frequency that music isn't put to anymore, because it's like a clear frequency, and we put this frequency that kind of makes us uneasy in a sense of how salt and sugar processed, because the salt and sugar that we consume is not the way we should consume it, so it creates this form of addiction and dependency.
So you're saying like GMOs, but music style, like
literally
music GMOs.
I mean, there's frequencies that literally you can emit it, and you can see water. Let's say there's a stream of water happening, right? If you point a speaker at this water,
I've seen that.
It'll look like it's
It's
frozen
pretty cool.
in time. That's what I'm saying, man. Sound is like the essence of creation. You know,
I'm still reeling that
Sorry.
William Hung's "She Bangs" is still going out into the universe.
It is.
It's on YouTube.
That's kind of
man.
you're getting kind of like into string theory, right? Am I wrong?
Totally, and like I'm really into like
String theory,
parallel
what is
dimensions.
that? Our listeners don't know what that is.
String theory,
By listeners, I mean
essentially.
me.
Okay, I mean, someone correct me. You correct me if I'm wrong. But string theory essentially is like, okay, when you go past an electron, what's past that? A quark, and what's past a quark? And they think that
Paul
when you
Newman.
get down to the bottom of
Infinitely
all of it,
small.
it's just a vibration that's causing. it.
Yeah. Okay. So what you were
That's-
saying about God speaking, I don't know if we're going too deep into this,
Let's
but
go all the places.
God
I'm deep.
speaking life, like speaking creation, and then when you see an atom or like a molecule or whatever, it's constantly vibrating. Like there's nothing that is completely stationary.
Yes.
Nothing exists
never
that does
And
not.
those
Truly touching
atoms
something.
don't necessarily cease to exist once you're dead. Our comprehension of how they react and interact with each other is so like infantile. You know what I mean? Like we just understand the
We have finite
iceberg. of
minds.
this.
Life is constant
Exactly.
movement. There's no life without movement.
Exactly. And so when we see a body die, I don't know if you know the 21 grams theory,
Moving people.
Yes.
but like things like
Really
things
great
like
movie,
that,
by
that-
the way.
Yeah, totally. And we
Just
choose
explain what that is. Do you guys know what the 21 grams thing
I
is?
don't.
When you die,
I'm really dumb. I'm sorry.
this guy had a body on a table and wanted to see what happened when it died. So it was on a scale, and supposedly at the moment of death, it became 21 grams lighter.
Yeah.
With no explanation.
So some people are trying to say that the soul
It's 21 grams.
has a weight to it itself.
And that's
too.
why when you're 21, you're considered an adult.
Actually, it's 18, but
Oh, I thought.
You can drink legally in the U.S.
It's okay.
That's what
21,
Joey's
so-
mom told him.
No, isn't it like. Oh, whatever. Young adult is 18.
But what Austin
21
is
is like
saying is
adult.
actually really true when you come to think of it. Like, I know we have some listeners that have submitted some questions, and a lot of the things that I saw surfacing were questions pertaining to music and its effect on us. And why do we believe that music has an effect on us? Just today at work, I know this woman, and she's kind of going through like this situation right now in life, and she's an older woman, but she's experiencing things she's never dealt with before, and just blatantly she was just like, Ashley, I don't know what I would do without music.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even talking to her, and I was like, really? Tell me, like, why? And she was saying like how it's been saving her, and it changes her mood, and even though she's dealing with something in her life, it not escapism, but it takes her somewhere else.
It's like a positive way of looking at things instead of.
Yeah.
You know, it helps. It's,
or
it's
even
like a
people
whole
that are
vibe.
going
It's
through
a
a
whole-
negative experience
It's a whole
to
tone.
have something to
Bro.
connect to.
Why do you think cars have radios?
Oh my god.
We need it.
They're powered by radio waves.
But we really
The
do. I
government
think
is
the
lying
world
to us.
That's
we
the
don't need gas.
future.
I think the world would be a definitely different place if we didn't have music, but it's also a contradiction because there's no way
That'd
we
be
could
an
have
interesting
life
concept
without
for
it.
an indie film
would be. If you
Let's
think
do
about
it.
it, wherever people gather,
right now.
especially if it's actually even if it's sad and stuff, there's always music. There's music at a funeral. There's music at a.
It creates a vibe. The
Yes.
whole everywhere.
There should
It's an
be
aesthetic.
music.
It's an
There should be
intangible
music
aesthetic.
when you're born. That would be really. I'm gonna
By
open.
the way, my niece is
hospital.
supposed to be born
What is that?
today or tomorrow, which is today's my birthday, so she'll be born on my birthday.
you should just play while she's
Happy
squeezing
birthday,
out of
Austin!
the
I wrote a
Happy
ballad. I
birthday.
wrote.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
I wrote a piano ballad for my sister to play to
HB
her.
day to the
So it's the
APF.
first song that she'll hear when she's born.
Wow.
So it's so
Wow.
crazy that you're saying that because
But you
I
should.
thought about
But
that.
you're gonna do it as she's like crowning. That you need to be there. You need to sing into the vagina.
I'm not gonna be there.
Vibration.
At my sister's birth, I said, "They said, do you want to come to Tennessee?" Nope, I don't want to be in the same state.
We want all of the fluids coming out to look stationary when you play that frequency.
Moves the placenta.
The doctor's like freaking
Hiccups.
out. Like what? It looks like it's all staying right there.
What movie does in films,
Antichrist.
I feel like it also does in real life. You know, like there can be the same shot used like 5 different ways, just changing the tone of the music.
Yeah,
you know?
that's pretty much how I listen to music. I use it as pretty much a score to my life.
Yeah.
I mean, think about sitcoms and how much they re-garnish ideas of stories, because we live with these. I don't know if you guys know, but like Carl Jung, he was like Sigmund Freud's like partner. He basically talks about these things called archetypes, which are we all have dreams about losing our teeth, or we all have dreams about having sex with somebody who you probably shouldn't be having sex with,
wizards.
or just random crazy things, you know, and they're very consistent among human history. And so it travels into music and in the
or like
movies
roles
when you see
people
these
play.
reoccurring themes. Even me as an artist,
In life.
I constantly talk about the same exact things. It's spirituality and sex, but like together, you know? I don't mean like sex, like physical sex, but like just sensuality and gender and how we...
The combining of
Yeah,
people
the
and-
left brain and right brain. Like I think very creatively, and I don't know how to explain it. Like with intuition, as opposed to strategically most of the time, as which most men think. I'm not very strategic.
Same.
You know, like, but it's that's the way God made us, certain people. So it's beautiful, but there's not a lot of representation for people that way in society.
It's getting there.
Totally, I'm here for that. That's
Yeah.
what I want to be. Is like, to be a man doesn't mean that you have to be some super jacked person that, you know, comes home and just lays a stack of money on the table and whatever, you know, like
No, it's bacon, isn't it?
bacon. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hurt the vegans' feelings.
I'm glad we're talking about the brain, because I read all this cool stuff
brain.
that I read a while ago
Mm-hmm.
in this book called "This Is Your Brain on Music: The Science of a Human Obsession." Have you read that?
No, I haven't read it, but I know what you're talking about. They have the same one. This is your brain on drugs.
I've seen
Okay.
those commercials.
There's like a series.
So listen to how crazy this is. Okay,
Tell
your
me.
cerebellum,
Mm-hmm.
which is the oldest part of your brain, is associated with timing and rhythms, but also how that was used was timing for like hunting or something like that, like actual
Pace,
timing,
like
a
pace.
pace. So that's associated with timing. And musicians, all musicians who have been playing a while, actually have a larger cerebellum than a non-musician,
Nice.
which is really crazy.
Do you
What
think
is
they
that cerebellum?
become musicians because they have a larger one, or because they're a musician they've been practicing it and it becomes larger?
Could be both.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
probably
Yeah, yeah.
both.
We're learning, I think, and musicians and artists start to understand more of that rhythm of things. So you talk to a person and you already know what that person is thinking, like how their mind works. I mean, it happens in relationships. When you date a certain amount of people, you start to realize, I can meet somebody and I know that that person is going to be like that girl I dated, or, you know, I don't want to get in that situation again.
Sometimes I see like copied people,
Yes.
like faces, and I don't know. That's kind of bad. Anyways,
No.
you know what I mean? Like archetypes for real.
Pattern recognition is meant to keep us safe.
Yeah.
That's why when we talk about people stereotyping people
Like
for races and
if
stuff.
this guy's got this kind of tone of voice and he looks a certain way, I can kind of tell his humor. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're learning. That's
I
what
have
I
a
think.
random thought that's pretty nice. You know.
We'll see
I'll
if
be
it's
the
nice.
judge of
All right.
that.
Well, look at it this way. Language is like music. I mean, we're basically made for language or to communicate, and this is just all like a kind of song that you're understanding, and you can even reply back with your version of the song. It's like, you know what I mean?
That's like Switchfoot's "Your Love Is a Song."
Oh yeah, I
Joey.
didn't even think of that.
So nice.
I love Switch.
They just put out a new album, I saw.
Yeah.
They did. We
I
have it.
refuse to listen to it.
We like Switchfoot. We also love House of Heroes.
Oh my gosh. Did they put out new music recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Brand new. It's
a whole
incredible.
concept
It's a
album.
concept album. Everything.
I'm about that life.
It's good.
So good.
But back to the brain really quick.
These are good bands. You should check them out.
Good
You know who
bands.
House of Heroes is? Jeff Buckley.
What?
What do you mean?
Have you ever listened to Jeff Buckley?
Yeah.
His music.
Uh-huh.
The House of Heroes is like a reincarnation of his music.
Oh, okay. I get
Think about how similar they sound, man.
But they don't at all.
Bro, think about it. Just
Bro,
go
sometimes
back.
House of Heroes sounds like Queen.
Totally, that too. Totally Queen. But really,
Sometimes
Jeff
they
Buckley.
sound like the Beatles, especially when they're doing the cover.
I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, go back and listen to Jeff Buckley's album. I have listened to House of Heroes forever, but I never would have thought that. And then when I started listening to Jeff Buckley, I was like, I can see
But there's a possibility that they just got lucky sounding like him. You know, like there's times
Totally,
where,
yeah.
like painters don't mean to paint the same exact thing that the other person
For
did.
sure.
They thought they came up with it, but it's like
Well,
happens
music is
everything's
very
been done.
based
Everything's
upon a
been done
building
before.
process, though.
I hate that.
That's my whole thing. I mean, hip hop though is they build too much. It's like you can't just take that song. You know what I mean?
Use that as the chorus of your song.
Oh my
Drake.
gosh! And they're like paying homage, paying respect.
It's
Bro.
that's bleeding into pop big time.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's
Pop art.
disgusting.
Like what's the there's a song that's like let me hold you girl caress my body. That one.
RDSR.
That's a song.
RDSR
That's a
people.
reggae song from not that long ago. Somebody just basically made a cover of
Yeah,
the song
dumb.
but released it as their single, and it's all of the words are the same.
is it as big? I don't
beginning
know.
to
Wait,
end
if it's
is
big
the
ant,
same.
then it's a cover.
No, it's not a cover. I'm telling you, it's
Because it's not promoted as a cover.
they switched it
Just
up a little
like
bit.
So they can
A
get
little
some
bit,
credit.
but the
for
words
it.
are the same.
The Drake song. What's the new Drake
There's
song?
all of them.
Yeah, that's
almost
just
all
like a
of them are-
remix.
What? No, but what's the one that he had in the video? Cell phone. That is a sample
Yeah.
of a song.
What's that one called again?
Nobody knows about that though.
Oh no no,
Bling.
You used to
Hotline
call me
Bling.
on my
It's
cell
a
phone.
cover of Dram's Cha Cha.
And Dram.
Yeah.
Not a cover,
is
but a sample.
Yeah, and Dram is very he's not.
They
as
played
famous
it at
as
a
Drake, but
Starbucks
he's
once.
not
It was like,
dead.
oh.
Yeah.
You know,
An
he's on
alternate
Chance
version
the
of
Rapper's
Drake.
new album.
I'm sure
which
Drake paid him for that.
Chance the Rapper's new album is phenomenal.
I've heard that.
I prefer acid rap, to be honest. Acid rap was
The Black Keys.
crazy.
I like
better.
acid rap. I can just relate with his new album more, like on a spiritual sense. Like,
Yeah, it's chill. I like it.
Which artists would you say have inspired you?
three main
You
ones:
grabbed from, yeah.
Prince, Frank Sinatra, Pink Floyd.
Nice. So
They
you've
like-
mentioned like Prince and Pink Floyd before, like
Yeah, I
before in
love
this
Prince
podcast, so
and Pink Floyd.
it's also Frank Sinatra. Nice.
I love, Frank Sinatra's like vocally how I
Oldie but a goodie.
when I'm more exactly, I'm more vocally like similar to him than.
How do you
Prince
feel
or-
about Bublé? You think he's like a ripoff of Frank?
Honestly, I'll tell you what he is.
He's a cover.
He's a
he's a
cover
cover
of
king.
Frank Sinatra.
He's not even though. He really doesn't even like.
Like that's what he started off trying to do.
Yeah, he's just appealing to a certain crowd and making money off of it. What I think though about music like that is like, even bands now, like when I hear bands that sound like those bands that we were listening to 5 years ago, Under Oath, Tides of Man, all these different bands, it's like, dude, they made that music because that was revolutionary rock music. It wasn't what was popular, which was like U2 and like all the things that were popular at that time that were rock.
MTV.
Yeah, that they changed all of that. But guess what? Now that's what that music is. It's a style that has been done. And if you try and make that music again, there's so many ways it's already been done that it's so easy to just make the same exact song.
That happens to me all the time when I feel like I have an original thought or an original idea, and then I just find out it's not, and I'm like,
Or you come up
wow,
with a quote
I'm
and
just
then you Google it.
bacteria. that's what that makes me
Wow.
That's
feel
why
like.
Yeah.
that's why music is so beautiful, is that we have the opportunity to create new sounds and new styles, especially when it comes to contrasting. Contrasting is the first step to making new types of music. And like when I hear somebody, like I went and saw a band last night to play Bardot, but they sounded exactly like Ray LaMontagne.
He's awesome.
He's
great.
awesome.
Do you guys like
He
Borns?
did it. If you hear another band that sounds like a Beatles, they're not going to be famous again because the Beatles, we already had the
They
Beatles.
did it.
You need a new person.
Born.
As much as I love Prince
Born's
and all these people,
nice.
I can't just make Prince music because Prince was already Prince.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm Austin Paul.
You're the future.
like, there you go. Yeah.
Prince is the past.
yeah.
R.I.P. in peace.
But I just want to
Prince
make
is the
new
past.
music, you know?
PIP, R.I.P.
Well, that's a great point that you've actually made, which leads me to
That was the shittiest transition
Oh, yeah?
segue I have ever.
shut your butt.
I thought I was pretty bad.
Hello, I am
That's
going to
really-
transition. I would like to move on to the next piece.
Question someone submitted.
That is really nice what you said, but
Okay.
let's move on with the podcast.
No, okay, that's a great
okay,
point.
I
Actually,
understand time
someone
constraints.
it's a great reference.
It connects
Dang it,
somehow.
look what I
It connects
just did.
somehow to the
I
question you
cannot
want to read.
To
several things
segue.
at once.
It's okay.
Anyways, Justin on Facebook asked us, Are YouTube cover artists and singing competition shows ruining or creating false ideas of the music industry, in your
When
opinion?
did he ask
YouTube,
this?
you're saying?
A couple of days ago when we
posted,
advertised that we were going to be doing a music
People who cover?
episode.
Wait.
Are these YouTube shows and competition,
YouTube
covers,
They're hurting
and
it.
musical
They're dumb.
competitions, creating a false idea of...
Yes, because the people that get famous on these shows have no art. And this is going to sound really strong and blunt, but this is the same thing with pop artists. If you don't have an artistic identity in the first place, to sell yourself out like that is easy. Mind you, they're not picking these songs that they're performing on these shows. These songs, there's a list of songs that you can choose from, and then at the end of the day, the producers of the show pick these songs and say, you're singing that song in front of this person.
And then when the judge doesn't like it, it's like, why did you pick that song?
You're not even allowed to. If you say I couldn't pick it, that's what I said. Didn't get aired. I was on The Voice, the first season of The Voice. I was like, I didn't pick this song. Didn't show my audition. You know what I mean? Like, they don't.
Of course, you can tell those shows are crap just because they show all those
Yeah, but there are
shitty
those
performances.
rare gems that do come on the show with original work. But then
Yeah.
if they do make it, all of a sudden their original work is no longer like manufactured
Because
or
they're
produced.
not allowed to
They're
make that
changed and they're
music.
altered
They have
Yeah.
to
to
make
become what is
for the next
appealing.
5 years. Your soul is sold to that company. That's the real devil. Is materialism and people that own companies. They're the people that are when you're selling it. When people talk about artists selling their souls to the devil, it's not some spiritual thing. It's literally selling yourself
Actual-
For money.
for money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Illuminati.
Exactly.
way out.
It's not that crazy to believe in. And these shows create a platform for people that who do you really know from these shows other than the old people from when the shows first came out?
Hey, Philip Phillips, it was nice.
What?
He was a nice guy.
Mr.
Like
B.
it's very contrived and all the people. Let me tell you something. When you watch X Factor, and they're fun to watch for sure. America's Got Talent, all this stuff. Every single person in that studio audience is being paid to be there.
That's a lot of people to pay for
They're extras.
America's Got Talent, especially. That's
They
a
have
huge.
to clap
It's a
for you when you
stadium.
come out. Oh, if you like it, stand up.
Paid, all of them.
Jason,
Are you on a
I'm
mic?
telling you, I was doing it at The Voice, and they literally pay all those people. Some people, yeah, maybe a section is like Groupon, like be an extra on this thing, dude. They're paid. This is like a fact, like, because I was with the PAs, they're telling me like, oh yeah, these people are paid.
to
They put
research
an ad on
this.
Craigslist
This would have been
and
perfect
say, hey,
for the...
do you want to be an audience member? They can't trust random people to just come into those things, and look at the way those people are clapping.
Are you telling me I could be
so
a
fake.
professional audience member?
You
What are we
can.
doing here?
Let's
You
quit the
totally
podcast.
can. You
I
totally
know how to
can.
clap.
I know how to smile.
The things that aren't paid for are like Jimmy
Jimmy Fallon.
Fallon's. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
we said the
Those
same
people
thing.
they pay for the tickets because they want to go
SNL.
see that person, But these shows are manufactured to create emotion and excitement
I can cry
yay.
on command.
and a sense of having nothing and going from something to nothing. Let me tell you something. Half of the people that were on when I was on were selling music on iTunes and were huge songwriters. Dia was from Megan Dia, who I'd been listening to for years before she was on The Voice. Frenchie, who was on the season that I was on, she was on American Idol. She got really far in American Idol a few years ago. A lot of the people are already in a position where they're good, but the reality is that
The art of the TV show.
no matter how much in the moment it seems like these people are becoming famous, as fake as the music industry is, audience and people know when things aren't real and when somebody didn't earn what they made. As much as I'd love to go on a show like that and make a bunch of money, but that's all I do it for is the money. I'm not expecting to be famous off that. I don't even care. But those people get on those shows and they're stripped of their fame because people know, like, oh, they're from that show. There's a difference between that
Yeah, it's harder to become bigger than the show.
Yeah,
Like, some
and a-
people
and a real artist,
have,
though.
but it's so much harder. Than,
It's very hard, man, to create a cult following based on people relating with you because they can actually relate
like,
with you.
what was her name? Jennifer.
Hudson?
Hudson.
Yeah.
How do I even know that? I don't watch any of this crap.
She was from American Idol.
She's
Oh,
doing
shoot.
well. Yeah.
She's doing
She
really
didn't
well.
even
well.
win.
Being on Broadway is if you're famous and you want to be on Broadway, guess what? You're on Broadway.
Really?
They want anybody they
Broadway.
can get.
They don't
Well-
call it Broadway for nothing.
Yeah, if
Am
not,
I
it'd be
right?
the narrow way. High five. Hot cha-cha. You're on
No,
just
but-
fire.
Just like blink, blink.
I mean, there's so many people that are in theater that you wouldn't even know about. Like Danny McBride is really into theater, musical theater and stuff. He's really.
I wanna
good.
see that.
He's an amazing actor.
He's.
He's
What the hell?
We were talking about him the other day.
Yeah.
He really is
Good
though, because he's an intelligent as person, and he knows how to be.
I like that.
He knows how to have for you to
How to
make
work
it-
the crowd,
Like
yeah.
you hate him, and
Massage.
like Sunny in Philadelphia. When I watch that show, I sincerely believe sometimes like these are horrible people.
I love it.
Like
I love
too,
love
'cause
it.
They all speak to different. They speak to Dennis speaks to the narcissism in yourself. Charlie speaks to the innocence.
The slob.
D speaks to that.
The
What does Frank
political-
speak to?
Naive.
What does
Yeah,
Frank
yeah.
speak to? Your
Your
sphincter?
gut.
Like, what does he?
Frank speaks to nice. He speaks
That
to
part of you
me.
that tells you not to take a shower.
No, that's like Charlie.
No.
Frank speaks to me to like
Like,
that
just
like
poop right here.
ingenuity that everybody has inside. Like, okay, we're gonna do this. This is the plan. You know, he always has
Let's
like some
scheme.
crazy scheme.
We
Yeah.
have to mention Mac.
And then Mac is another naive, which is funny because he's married to D, which is also
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
naive
and-
archetype. You know,
That's so
because she's
funny.
very like. I
Bird.
love that
You bird.
show. It's so deep
Dynamics
into
are so good.
You're in the right house.
the problems with us.
Everybody
It's
here
our
loves
favorite
that show.
show. We have a
Dennis
shrine of
is
candles.
Such a shining
devoted to-
example.
They really do.
Of
We
how
do.
people confuse you. You know,
Have you
to
seen
be
those
selfish.
San
Catholic-
Lazaro candles in the Virgen, like the Virgin Mary candles?
in the show?
No,
or
no,
like
no,
in
no.
real
Like,
life?
in general
yeah.
life.
In life, they
Yeah,
have
I
them.
buy them.
But
They
they're
have 'em-
dedicated to the Sunny Cast. Like
That's
Frank's face is
amazing.
on
Do you have
one,
the
Rachel's
waitress?
on the
And
other.
it's like the designs.
Yes.
it's that
like
style.
the Catholic shit.
In the future, we got to do an Always Sunny episode.
Oh, totally. Let
Yeah.
me know.
We have to do an Always Sunny episode.
Talk
of
about
the
our favorite
podcast.
episodes. And
Yeah, when you were speaking earlier about that, about just doing music and not selling your soul to the industry, Janaea Eiko is an artist that made me think of her. I don't know if anyone listens to her, but
She goes.
she kind of has sold her soul to the industry. But in fact, the name of her album is
Play
Sold
the game
Out.
to win the game.
Yeah, the name of her album is Sold Out, but like soul, like your soul sold out. Right? I love it. I thought it was cool. And
cool, it is cool.
she's actually said before, she has a daughter, and she's like even though I have a daughter, if I had to sing in coffee shops, like I would do that and be broke. And we
Yes.
like I wanted to bring something up because the question that Justin asked about these shows, right? It was about the.
It was about people doing a bunch of covers on YouTube,
Yeah.
and then
YouTube.
then
Boom.
TV shows as well.
So I don't think those should be grouped together because they're two very separate
Different things.
Well, they're not
Um,
really though. They're people covering a song.
Yeah,
for
but
everyone to
they're
see.
not going. They're not like.
Platforms.
Okay, but yeah, that's just a platform. That's like a performance that you're just doing in front of a camera,
Mhm.
right? Whereas on these shows, you're just you're trying to be famous.
Press.
You're trying to get into the entertainment industry.
for
Yeah.
a name
That's
I
your
guess.
goal.
or something.
A lot
Like-
of these people's goals who do covers on YouTube though are trying to get noticed.
Yeah,
and
but
That's
maybe
what
get
only
views
means. You're right.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, some, but there's also people
the
that
real-
that just put music out there.
Yeah.
They're just putting their stuff out
This
there
is what
for
I think.
people
Though,
to
if
hear.
they were just putting music out there to hear, they wouldn't be doing covers because they're doing covers because somebody's relating. Because they know that it's easier for somebody to relate to. I was having a conversation with this girl. She was like asking me about the meaning of my album and stuff. I was like, it's about singularity and this kid who becomes the first robot human. She goes, you think people have trouble relating with that? I was like, I mean, maybe.
I don't
Who
care.
cares?
but
that's
on
not
the other
what
hand,
art is about.
some things aren't that deep. Covers are fun. Like
Yeah, but that's another.
new
It's
wave,
a
like, different
problem, man.
acoustic version.
It is fun.
I don't ever want to be a singer, but
But-
would I record a
but-
cover and put it on YouTube? Sure, why not? It's
because
fun.
It seems like it's normal that somebody can just sing somebody else's song and get a bunch of attention from it. But if you stole somebody else's painting and everybody was like, "Oh, cool."
Oh, and then everyone's doing the same painting on the street side.
Yeah,
Dude, that
but
happens
the
all
problem-
the time.
I know, and
problem
it's
is-
messed up.
That's
though.
normal.
I know, but that's the problem. And
Like
that's what we-
Banksy's style or
Exactly.
Warhol's style of art. Like it's
No,
nothing
well,
is.
there's a difference.
Those are
between covering
covers.
something. They're not though. You're inspired, and then that's how art is created in the first place. When you can be inspired by a style and
That's
write
the
a new
problem
song.
with these things, that people are
It
dishing
stunts
this
their
out
growth.
to get to the point where other people did their original work and got to like
And had to
they're just
be in
doing
an
covers to
emotional
hopefully reach
level
this
to
pivotal point
experience
in
that, and you're
Hollywood
trying to
or the
relate with
music
me.
We could
industry
do the cover
where
as
other people work
practice.
their butt off doing original work, getting there.
Stop being so prideful. If I was an artist and somebody covered my song, I would be honored. I would be like, wow, they like
Guess
it.
Yeah,
what,
of
bro?
course,
I,
but
I
there are
would think that was
people.
awesome.
There's a
It's
multitude
not
of
that
people.
way, though.
So many artists think that it's. So many artists post other people covering their music because they think that it's so awesome.
And probably
there's-
also because
there
they're
is
also
a-
getting the revenue from it.
There is people
Not
that
really on YouTube.
But wait, there is definitely people that cover songs because they appreciate the song and they want
Yeah,
to pay
of
homage
course.
to it, for sure. But a large majority of people that do it for plays. And I'm gonna tell you this because I know this firsthand from being with labels and being with shows. How many covers can you play at this show? Or else we're not paying you. How many? Oh,
Because people want to relate.
My manager, when Prince died, this is why I did the Prince cover, and this is why I took it down too. He literally texted me and he goes, "You should put up a Prince cover today." That's how methodical they are. It's not it's not. And these people who do these covers that get famous off it, they got this nice camera. And it's just like it's stunting the creative growth. That's why as much as I
Exactly.
love hip hop music, a lot of it is so re-garnished beats, and it's so much of the same thing. There's no creativity.
Not
in
everything is for the sake of art. The ones that are regarnished, they don't give a shit about art.
Exactly. Not everything is for the sake of
They
art. So
want
why
money.
make art not be for the sake of art? The one thing that is supposed to be art, we're turning it into a product
Exactly.
again. Yes, there's areas where it can be entertainment and stuff, but why is the essence of what it's supposed to be, making music, making art, is art, but you've got the forerunners in it, entertainers, giving you an idea of a reality that isn't true, that yes can be used as a fantasy for some people, but the people who it's defining their lives and their moral compass are the kids who can't discern between it being reality and fantasy. Like we can. We're older. We know what it is to go to a club and listen to music that we can enjoy and just have fun.
It's just a part of being a kid. I did it. It happened to everybody. We're over it.
Totally.
We're adults
Superman,
Bro,
Batman.
of course, but some people
Spider-Man.
don't get over it, man. And I'm talking about
now. Well, what can you do about that? Like the industry is
the
what it is.
influence,
Like,
man. That's what I'm saying. If you had a better influence and power, it sounds cheesy. With great power comes great responsibility. And our influencers are future.
I
and
just personally don't
Beyonce
think that that's the
and
music
Drake.
industry's role in a child's life. Is
It doesn't have to be the role. It is. Whether you like it or not. That's who is raising our kids. And guess why?
You know how much shit I listened to as a kid? I listened to Yin Yang Twins when I was a kid.
No, I have to agree
you are
with
in
him.
a different
When I was in this-
situation, though, man. We are in a very privileged sect of society, regardless of where we even come from. The fact that we're here now shows how much more privileged we are. It's affecting people. Like it's who we take our inspiration from, and the people who actually succumb to that are people who, like I'm saying, can't discern between reality and a lifestyle, and then they turn that lifestyle into their reality, like selling drugs. When these rappers don't sell drugs, they just do drugs.
Yeah.
And then you do that lifestyle, it doesn't work out the same way it does for a
My thing
rapper.
is hasn't this always been this way?
Yeah, but it's an extreme form right now. It's super.
so
It's at the
easy
highest
I just
point
feel
it's
like
ever
this
been.
is the way it's always
Think
been,
about
so.
lean and promethazine. That
Musical
didn't become as
recordings haven't
popular as it
been
was
around that
without
long.
Music. Would not have been as popular as it has been. Weed has been around for thousands of years, and now it's popular because of music. Music made it popular, and so if you have the ability to affect culture in a way that actually can help culture, and you've got the main influence, these people who are only promoting care about yourself, care about the way you look, care about your sexuality, because being sexually powerful is what's beautiful. And then you've got them also talking crap about people who smoke cigarettes and do other things that are also choices, but then you're promoting a lifestyle that's based on sleep deprivation, substance abuse, and living in the moment, which are all things MIA. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I guess
I don't
Listen
want
to
to grow
that
up
song.
in a world where that's what my kids are hearing, regardless if they have the ability to discern between it or not. It's a lot more difficult when it's the only example of life.
but it's here.
Exactly.
it's here.
So how are we going to change it?
Age
Because
restriction
it
on
was
Spotify.
changed to be that way in the first place. So it's not like it's just, we're not confined to our desires. I was telling him before, just because something feels right in the moment doesn't mean you do it. Because if you do that, if you live based on, oh, I feel this way, I'm going to do it, it feels right, you have no free will. You're living based off of your animalistic desires. We live in a completely different way. We want to create. We want to learn. We want to grow. We want to expand. And if we stop ourselves from doing that just to experience life, are we experiencing life, or are we numbing ourselves to actually what our lives could be? You know? Sorry.
The future. Ashley wants to.
She's
Clap.
clapping. She's clapping slow motion.
I don't know. Ralph
He
was
just
like he was
dabbed.
really gonna. He was like the mic was like.
No, bro, it's on fire. I say it's on point.
Spit out fire.
stuff
Spit out
indeed.
fire.
Spits on fire. I wanted to say something about a cockroach.
Say it.
Say it.
All right.
They're beautiful.
There's a cool YouTube video I found where they attached a cockroach leg. It was dead to like some things that would like put some frequency on it. So it was like music, and then they put different frequencies and they moved different parts of the leg. So it's pretty crazy. So if you
Whoa.
advance that technology times 1,000,
Wait, so we could pump music through some people's dead bodies and like
And
have
make
a,
them
a,
come to life or
real Michael
something?
Jackson
Yeah,
zombie
like play-
music video.
if you play
Make them dance to Thriller.
if you play a certain like rhythm or music in
That's
their
how they
brains, you can
recorded
control
Thriller.
them.
Oh, I believe it.
All right, if there was one song
Science.
that we used to like reanimate corpses, what would it be?
Zombie by the Cranberries.
Monster Mash.
I guess Thriller.
On an ending note, I just want to like be clear. All I'm saying when it comes to just music, I just think that there's such a powerful influence that they have on society that they could be using in a way to benefit people, when all the subject matter has to only do with specific things that aren't even the real subjects of what we're dealing with within society now, like equality and just different things. We have the potential as artists to really help culture, but what we're doing is we're becoming products. We're becoming a part of the system, as opposed to what we originally could do for society, which is speak what the society is feeling. That's why the Beatles were so big. It's because they were speaking for a generation of people that felt like war was wrong and we don't have to do this, and we can.
Well, at a
change
certain
things,
point in their career, right? The first part was,
Well,
Isn't
I
that
wanna hold your hand.
the later part
I
because
used
they
to-
became a product?
at the same time, at least the initial thing happened, because I used to think, like, what did the hippie movement really do? It actually did a lot. Like, they really did
LSD.
create a new sense of equality and open-mindedness. Yes, at the time it seemed like a lot of debauchery, but I think that you have to destroy to rebuild. You got to get dirty to really understand where you come from.
Guys, I sense like an American revolution's about to happen.
what,
Like,
when the
again?
president gets
Let's
picked?
do it.
No, like I don't know.
I
Just
agree,
talking about
though.
politics
I
now.
really agree. The veil is being stripped.
Is it?
I mean,
with those two
with what's
monkeys right now?
happening,
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody can agree that it's two monkeys.
Yeah.
And how do they get
That's,
up there? in the
that's what I'm
first
saying.
place?
It's being aware where it's
Chang.
like, oh wait, this is all bullshit. To the point where, mind you, what people don't understand is that anytime anything ever happened in this country and in every country is when society fights back. The only thing that's going to change this is physical action. People are going to have to take action and do something about
Fight
it.
back with
you
music.
can't vote.
Music.
Exactly. But seriously though, like,
That was gonna
make
be my
people
question.
aware of things. What?
Okay, so you were saying about the industry and everything, and how,
That's the way we fight back with art.
and like we need to change it. How do we do that?
Which is what I bring it to, is music is what creates culture, and acting and art is what defines culture, because it creates an awareness of the important concepts of what's going on in time. All art comes from sci-fi movies, futuristic movies come from the time where we didn't have all that stuff, so we were extrapolating what it was going to be like because we were at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
of
that's why.
technology.
That's why someone who's gonna come in and take over a country will destroy all the art. and-
Exactly.
Took all the paintings.
It's a classic case of somebody wanting to control somebody by taking out information, so you see things from a certain perspective, and that's what is so. Another thing with me, because I have a serious relationship with God and with spirituality, but organized religion.
Say it.
If God is God, then there's no possible way that you're going to write about him on a piece of paper and explain
And
him.
confine him to.
That's what
whatever
I'm
it is.
saying. God
Yeah.
can't be confined to pen and ink. Just like they say, tribes and indigenous tribes, no matter if they've read the Bible or any scriptures or not, just looking up at the stars, you know that God is there. And that's all that there is to it. Everything, if you really just believe in that, then your moral things can come into play.
Finite minds.
But that
God is
doesn't mean
infinite.
that morals
Finite,
at one
infinite.
time in history are all going to be right. We grow. We learn to understand what, I had very strict beliefs of what I thought was morally correct or morally wrong growing up. And then I realized, wow, that has nothing to do with morals. What I'm judging somebody for doing has nothing to do with morals at all. You know what I mean? But now we're in a situation of time where hurting yourself can be the problem. Obviously, we justify things by saying it's not hurting anybody else. But now it comes to, is it hurting yourself, though? And are we supposed to, as human beings in a community, supposed to look out for each other, just like cigarettes? As much as I agree that anybody should smoke cigarettes, we're humans and we understand that we're bad. And for somebody to say, bro, that's hurting you, is okay because we understand the effect. And that's what I think with society is that we need to look in the mirror, see what's affecting us, and say, and grow up.
And exercise. Hey, we're getting fat. We gotta exercise.
Literally, though, nobody wants to look in the mirror. Though.
Change.
That's
Enough
a,
ranting.
So that's your answer to how we fix it, right? Change ourselves. Gandhi,
Change the
be
culture
the change
to
you want to
change
see.
yourself.
Sorry. I just
You
wanted
can
to,
only
like,
be an example. That's why
my
kids
answer, I
rebel.
really got it.
Think about teenagers. The reason why they cling to music so much is because musicians aren't telling you what to do. They're being themselves. But if you just set an example, people will
Yeah, but what if the
follow.
people that are smoking and drinking and having sex and all that and whatever debauchery, they're just being
sex
themselves.
isn't debauchery.
It's
Their version of it.
yeah, okay.
okay.
With
That's
hoes.
fine being yourself, but those things are things that hurt yourself anatomically.
Yeah, but if that's who they, that's what they are.
Humans are built to not hurt yourself. We're built to live. That's why most people don't commit suicide, because you're literally, and this has nothing to do with spirituality. This is like as a human being, we survive. Okay.
Yeah.
So
but
for
I'm
us
saying,
to drink poison, that literally we're
what
learning
if they're just
more.
shitty people making music?
We need to wipe them out.
That's a thing.
Totally.
You can't all be la-di-da positive.
But the
and
reason
wanna-
why shitty people making
It's
music
gonna
are the ones that are popular is because the
keep on
people with
making
money that can fund them for a reason, because they know that they're going to sell a product.
Boom. Back to Illuminati.
It is definitely people being themselves, but what has caused people to be in such a state where the only way they know how to make themselves happy is by self-deprivation?
We need some of that, bro.
Yeah.
The population is too much already.
That's a
Humans
fact
eat our
too
kids.
that is hard for people to understand. But we created a world where we're providing for so many people with substance that might
it's
not
too
be
much.
helping us.
It's too much.
All right. So I think it's cool how scientists and artists have this really strange thing in common where so scientists will do an experiment, or they'll have a theory. Or no, it's not theory until that's like a bunch of facts. What's that called?
hypothesis.
Hypothesis. Huh?
Are you talking about procedures?
No, I'm talking about when they're finished. So when an artist is finished, it's, even though they may know what they want it to mean, it is an open-ended statement for
There's a
the
quote for
person
that.
consuming to be able to interpret what it is.
Yes.
And a scientist kind of does something very similar where they're okay with, okay, I did the experiment and this was the outcome. They're okay with someone proving them wrong or showing them a different way that it can be done. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or like,
Yeah.
for a long time, something will be quote unquote a fact. And as time passes
Pluto.
and sure, I guess that's not really, I wouldn't even consider
Pluto's
that
always
science.
been a planet.
But
the Earth being flat isn't some crazy possibility as well.
I have a quote.
what?
I don't want to get into it on here, but if you think about the foundation of
But
how we
I'm
learn
gonna
a
get
lot of
into it.
things- yeah, just real quick, if you think about the foundation of how we learn a lot of things, if you can't trust the source of how we perceive things in the first place, then there's other things that come into question. I don't believe that it's flat, obviously. I believe that it's round. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of things like gravity that we choose to say that we understand it when we don't. We don't understand it. We just don't, you know. We just choose to quantify it in numbers, but science changes so much. That's what's beautiful about science, though, like you're saying, is that there's other possibilities. But what happens is that the overwhelming majority chooses to say this possibility makes sense the most because it fits into what we want to believe. So then we're going to promote
And they'll
that in
stick
science.
with it, and then if something...
Yes.
Right now, until
Something
2 years from now,
makes more
oh,
sense.
that was disproven. Coffee's actually good for you, even though whatever a previous study said that you should not have 1 to 4
Yeah.
cups a day.
So go ahead, Joey.
Oh, but back to what you were saying about like the artist not knowing what he was whatever. I'm just gonna say the quote that
Letting
came
it
to
be
mind.
open to
Yeah,
interpretation.
Say
And
the quote.
it was said by the director who directed the movie with Leonardo.
For God's sakes, say the quote.
But I want to give credit, but I don't.
Okay, what's his name?
Alejandro Gonzalez. The poet might know what he wanted to write, but he will never know what he wrote.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
something
the
like
whole
that.
That's
feeling
what
of it.
art
And so-
has to be made, music has to be
I've
made
heard that
into. That's
before.
true art. It's now made into something that you immediately can understand and explain. Sorry.
And the other thing they have in common, tied into what I was just saying, is that scientists and the artists that Austin is talking about here are in the pursuit of truth. Scientists is trying to find out what is the real deal here, and someone who's really making a piece of art is trying to explore either themselves
There's
or
a
society
science
or
in art
whatever.
and there's
and
an art in science.
Yeah.
Sometimes science is more art than science.
Morty. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Austin, for coming.
Yeah.
Again, if you're in Miami, he's gonna be at the 3 Points Festival in October, and we're gonna end this whole podcast with a song. One of my favorite lines, two favorite lines from your songs is "R." She reminds me of my favorite weather, and this could actually go with what we've been talking about in the podcast a little bit. The chorus of one of his songs is "Hallelujah, I'm alive." That's a really good song. I might do that one too.
Thank you. Yeah, do whatever you want, man.
All right.
Do whatever feels right.
All right, we're going to record the second one later,
Go with your
and
instincts.
Sarah and Tiffany and Justin, thank you for giving your questions. If your question wasn't answered, it will be answered in the next one. See you later.
Because we love you. We will
Yeah.
never.
Won't.
We might not see you.
You
in
can
this
see
lifetime.
us on Instagram and
Oh, we can
on
see
Facebook,
you on Facebook.
and then we'll see you.
Yeah, that's where they asked questions, actually, on our social
Find
media.
us so we can see you.
Yeah, Austin Paul's on all those things, too.
Austin Paul Flores. Austin Paul
Get it
Flores.
right.
A
It's
to the
Austin
P
Paul
to the
Flores.
F.
Find him on Instagram.
We'll post
You
them
won't
all
be
over.
disappointed.
Too bored of these rainy days when the cool front comes, but it doesn't She reminds me of my favorite leather. She makes me shake when we're together. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Grown a couple inches since I met you. But you're creeping in my dreams, I can feel you. Hallelujah, I'm alive, I can feel you. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Yeah. Just in time for my second life. I keep my heart crossed like a secret. I can't trust another anymore to keep it. Always thinking about your words and the meaning. I've been dead for years, so why did I start bleeding? Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Yeah. Just in time for my second life. I was blind, now I can see. All your lies become your beliefs. Close your eyes, darken the seas. I was blind. I was blind, now I can see. All your lies become your beliefs. Close your eyes, darken the seas. I was blind, was blind. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive.